Today, we're diving into an ancient art form that's about so much more than just tiny trees. It's really a story about resilience, about philosophy, and about a truly profound connection to time itself.
So, I want you to just imagine a living thing that started its life way back in 1625. I mean, that's before Harvard University was even founded, before Isaac Newton figured out gravity. Our story begins right here, with one single, incredible tree.
Now fast forward a few centuries to August 6, 1945. This exact same tree was standing less than 2 miles from the epicenter of the atomic blast over Hiroshima. The shockwaves shattered every single window in the house nearby, but a simple garden wall, that's what shielded the tree, and somehow it was unharmed.
Decades later, this tree was given as a gift of peace to the United States. But here's the unbelievable part. Its incredible story of survival, that whole history, it remained a complete secret for a quarter of a century.
This is the Yamaki pine. Its unbelievable journey from 17th century Japan to the National Arboretum in Washington, D.C. is pretty much the living embodiment of what bonsai is all about: patience, resilience, and a kind of beauty that can transcend even the worst catastrophes imaginable.
The story of the Yamaki pine, as amazing as it is really just one part of a much larger journey. To really get it, we have to go back 2,000 years, from the mystics of ancient China all the way to the Zen monks of Japan.
So the whole practice actually began in China more than 2,000 years ago, with the first real visual proof we have showing up in a tomb mural from 706 CE. From there, it traveled over to Japan, and over time, it slowly evolved into this uniquely Japanese art form, officially getting the name bonsai right around the year 1800.
Okay, now what's really interesting here is the huge philosophical shift that happened. The original Chinese art, which was called penjiang, was all about creating these entire miniature landscapes, tray scenery. But when it got to Japan, the influence of Zen Buddhism kind of stripped it all away, distilling the art down to its absolute essence, just a single, powerful tree that represents the entire universe in a pot.
This deep respect for the power of nature isn't just some abstract philosophy. It's literally rooted in the landscape of Japan. And you won't find a clearer example of this than in the dramatic volcanic mountains of Fukushima.
Way up on the slopes of the active Azuma volcanoes, there's this special type of five-needle pine that grows. The environment there is just brutal. We're talking extreme wind, heavy snow, and really poor soil. And all of that naturally sculpts these trees into these gnarled, dwarfed forms. They are, in effect, nature's own bonsai, and they've become the ultimate inspiration for artists.
And this brings us to this really remarkable family story. Almost 100 years ago, a man named Kurakichi Abe started collecting seeds, not trees, but seeds, from these mountains. He pioneered a technique of growing bonsai from the very beginning. And today, his grandson Daiki carries on that exact legacy, tending to trees his own grandfather planted.
This quote from Daiki Abe is just fantastic. He doesn't just imitate the trees. He says he becomes the forces that shape them. With his own hands, he's recreating the wind and the snow of the mountain, almost like he's a channel for nature to continue sculpting the tree over time.
The philosophy that drives all of this is known as wabi-sabi. It's this beautiful idea that you find true beauty not in perfection, but in the marks left by time, in the visible story of a long and often difficult life. It's all about celebrating the journey, scars and all.
And you can literally see wabi-sabi in the techniques themselves. Artists will sometimes deliberately strip bark or branches to create this bleached deadwood. And you see, those scars aren't considered flaws. No, they're marks of honor, a visible history of the tree's struggle and its survival.
The patience required for this is almost hard to wrap your head around. A seedling has to grow for 5 full years before an artist can even begin to think about training it.
And get this, if a large branch is removed, it can take 2 decades, 20 years, for that wound to heal over and become part of the tree's character.
And the lifespan? It's just staggering. The third shogun's pine, which is a national treasure in Japan, is over 500 years old. It's been passed down from emperor to emperor for centuries.
So, what does this all mean? Well, when you get right down to it, practicing bonsai is way more than just horticulture. It's a way of engaging with some of life's biggest questions about endurance, friendship, and our own place in the grand scheme of time.
You see, this art form is just deeply woven into these incredible stories of survival. The Yamaki pine, as we know, became a symbol of friendship after Hiroshima. And then, after the 2011 tsunami, a master named Isao Omachi, who lost his home, his nursery, everything. He just quietly rebuilt his life and his art. This really captures the Japanese concept of gaman, enduring the unbearable with this profound sense of dignity.
And today, this deeply Japanese art form has become a truly global phenomenon. I mean, we're talking about a multi-billion-dollar market with over 5 million enthusiasts in clubs scattered all over the world.
So let's circle all the way back to the Yamaki pine. Its longtime caretaker said this, and it's just so important. The tree wasn't meant to be a reminder of war. It was given as a gesture of peace and connection from one human being to another, without ever mentioning a word about its incredible past. This leads us to what is really the central paradox of bonsai. The artist dedicates their life to a tree that will almost certainly outlive them. Each caretaker, no matter how skilled, is just a temporary steward in a conversation that spans centuries.
As one master put it, the ultimate beauty isn't in the perfect shape or the ancient-looking bark. It's in the act of witnessing and tending to the dignity of life itself, in all its imperfect, resilient glory.
And so we end with the question that bonsai asks of all of us. What does it mean to care for something that will outlive you? To really consider our own small, temporary, but maybe essential role in a story that is so much larger than ourselves?